Hello and welcome to another day on Cornwall Pocket Farm, where I try and figure out how to live more sustainably on 300 square metres in the city. Today I'm starting the first of my Make, Do and Mend series. In this series the plan is to basically fix things up essentially. I buy quite a lot of second-hand recycled or from charity shops, or I try and make my own, and I try and sort of make, do and mend really. And so a lot of my clothes I've either made from scratch, or I start off with an item that I've picked up second-hand or in a charity shop, and then I adapt it to fit me, because I often find that even if I bought new, they wouldn't fit me either. So I find that this works really well for me, and hopefully you can see today how a couple of outfits have worked out for me. So this first one is a flowery dress that I picked up before I went to Europe. So this dress I picked up in a recycle boutique, and I didn't actually take it on my trip, but it did sort of blend with all the colours. But I picked it up then. It's always been a bit big, and I thought I'll try and fix it up. So I'll pop in a little bit of footage of when I bought it, sort of back when I was doing my capsule wardrobe series. I had a lucky find yesterday in town. I went in just to have my hair cut, and I went along to the bus stop to come home, and it was a little bit delayed, and I had about 20 minutes before the bus was going to arrive. So the recycle boutique is right next to there, so I thought, oh, I'll just pop in. So I just popped in there, had a little browse on the last chance rail, you know, the things that they haven't been able to sell and either are going to charity very soon or back to their owners. And I found this amazing dress. I'm so excited, I absolutely love it. Is glorious, and it actually happens to be pretty much all the colours that I'm doing for my capsule wardrobe anyway, and it looks very vintagey. Certainly it accentuates the waist. It's actually a New Zealand designer that isn't too far from us, so yeah, really pleased. It is a little bit big, but it's got plenty of seams, so I don't think it's going to take too much effort just to sort of pull that in a little bit. I mean, it's certainly wearable as it is. It's just a little bit loose. The shoulders maybe try and fall off just a little bit, but it's certainly very comfortable as it is. So I might just do a few little tiny alterations just to see if I can get it to fit just a little bit better. But very pleased, so I thought I'd just share that with you. So hopefully you could see in that footage that it was just a bit too big, and every time I put it on I just felt that it wasn't quite right. So it was one of quite a long list of things that I need to do some alterations on. A few of the new pieces that I've just recently bought need adjusting. One of them I've done already, the chiffon dress, and that will probably be coming out next week, because I actually adjusted it to wear for a party, a dance party before Christmas. So that one will be coming up next, and I've got quite a few bits and pieces that I need to fix or mend or adjust or what have you. So I thought, well, I'll make a series out of it. Now, this was supposed to come out last Friday, but those of you who saw it on my community post, I had an allergic reaction. I went to the wedding and all was fine, and as I was at the wedding, as the day progressed, my eyes started to get really itchy, and I thought, oh, what's going on? By the time I'd come home, my eyes were really angry, and then I woke up the next morning and my face was just massively puffy, red, and I looked dreadful. So there was no way I was going to be able to get a video out on Friday, because it took several days for that to go down. So now I have actually shortlisted this a little bit, because the only thing that I put on that I hadn't actually worn before essentially was some moisturizer with sun cream in. Because it was a daytime wedding and we were going to be out in the sunshine, I thought, oh, I'll use that moisturizer. Now, I have used this moisturizer before, but not recently, and this was a brand new bottle that I started, and I don't know whether they changed the formula, but that's what I think it is probably, is that maybe the sun cream in that moisturiser or something they've done to change that moisturiser that basically made my face go all mad. Apart from that, I had on the same makeup that I wear all the time, which is practically nothing. I mean, I'm wearing it today. Literally, it's like a little bit of eyeliner and mascara and lippy. That's it. So I don't think I would have reacted to those because, as I say, I wear them every week at least once or twice. So I don't think it was that. I think it was actually this moisturiser. Anyway, you don't need to know all the details about that. I'm here now and my face hopefully is back to normal. It feels fine. So yeah, it's back to normal now. So I thought, well, I'll do this intro and I can get this footage up. So what I thought I'd do is try and get this footage up early in the week. And then I have another video, which is actually the making of the hat that I also wore to the wedding, which I will probably get out for Friday. So you'll have the whole outfit and the reveal by Friday. So that's the plan anyway. Let's get on with the video, and it starts off with me, basically my daughter's pinned the outfit and I'm just sort of showing you the alterations I'm going to make, and then I sort of go through how I did it and what the issues were and all of that sort of thing. So I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, let's get on with the video. I should also say that I'm using my new lights. I hope it's making a difference. Well, I will see in post-production when I'm doing the editing whether it makes a difference, but I've got my new light over here, which is sort of the bright key light, they call it. So I've got the new light up here. I've been playing with the brightness settings just a little bit so that I'm not sort of blinded, but also there's enough light. It is an incredibly dull day. It is pouring with rain. It is the afternoon, so it's quite dark in my sewing room, so hopefully this is making a big difference. And then what I've done is I've used my charity shop ring light, the little one that I was trying to struggle with. That's here as what they call a fill light. So if I turn that off, not that you're here for the lighting, but hey, bear with me. If I turn that off, you can see how dark it goes on that side, and then I turn it on again. I think that fills in the light over here, because I did do a little bit of this video using my light on my hat video, the one you haven't yet to see, and I did notice that I was getting these sort of shadows, and I don't know, it was much better because it was much more sort of like light and dark. So hopefully this way, with a key light and a bit of a fill light, and of course there is a bit of ambient light over there, but not much, to be honest. It's very grey and miserable. I've got to go and take Maggie for a walk next, so yeah, I'm actually putting it off a bit. But anyway, yes, so hopefully this is making a big difference. So now we will get on with the video. My daughter pinned this up for me this weekend very kindly. So you can see what I'm going to do is basically take in a chunk through the middle of the bodice. So there is a center seam anyway. So, there's no pattern matching or anything here. So it's pretty easy. I'm just basically going to unpick the waist seam here and then take this little chunk, which is about probably 2 centimeters taken in at the front. Now what that of course has done is that these darts are now in the wrong place. To be honest, they were in the wrong place anyway. So I'm just going to move the dart over to here as well. So I have to move these 2 darts over so that they actually come to my bust line. The side darts are here. So they're not too far off, really. But this dart here is away. I'm going to have to move it over a little bit. So yeah, so I'll just need to take it in. And these facings are quite interesting. They're actually just like it's just the same piece of fabric. It's like a grown-on facing. It's quite weird. I've not seen that before. But it does mean that what I will do here is actually fold it down again so that the neckline is in the same position. I find this a little bit high on me, so I'm just really gonna cut that down so that it comes to the original height. And then at the back, I'm going to try and film this. This could be a bit tricky, but we will see. So let me turn around and I'll show you the back. Now what's happening here is the zip, obviously the central back zip, and I can't mess with that. But there are 2 darts in the back. Now they only come up to about here standard, but what I'm actually going to do is take them, as you can see, take them all the way up to the neckline and sort of make them like a back princess seam. I don't even mind really the way it affects the sort of the neckline at the back. I think that's quite interesting, but I'll see how it works when I get onto the cutting table to actually sort that out. And again, I will need to unpick where this goes into the waist, and then essentially with these pleats I'm just going to make them a little deeper.
I'm really, really pleased with this dress. I do like it. I love the fabric. I love the design. I think the neckline, the shoulders, I love everything about it. It was just too big. And I had worn it a couple of times, but every time I put it on, I just felt that it was too big. And it was fine if I had my arms down like that. But if I pulled my arm out, it just was too wide. It just looked sort of a bit silly. So making this alteration, it will make it a very, very wearable dress, I think. And of course, I have this wedding coming up, which was the ideal opportunity to get on and sort this, because I really, really want to wear this dress to the wedding. And of course, I can do it as part of my new Make To and Mend series, because as I said, this series hopefully is going to get me onto some of those mending jobs and altering jobs that I really, really need to do. So very excited. Let's get on and make the alterations. So now what I need to do, after having it just pinned on my body, is really sort of double check the positioning to make sure that it's sort of symmetrical and those types of things. And hopefully I haven't lost any of my pins. No, I haven't. Right, okay. I'm just going to put a couple more pins in where I need to take my dart to, just because I don't want to lose those. That's going to be a fairly critical measurement. So, right, so I need to see how this top part works, but what I can say roughly, let's just measure it with my handy dandy little tool. But I think what's actually, yeah, it's pretty much a centimetre. I think really up the front, I've just taken a centimetre all the way up the front. So as long as I know that I've taken the centimetre up the centre front, I'll take these pins out, because then it'll be easier to manipulate. And I also want to see how that this interesting facing idea has been done. Yeah. See, I've not seen one like this before. I don't know if anybody else has. It's probably a fairly common practice, but I don't know if you see, but the facing is just literally the fabric sort of turned over. And then what's happened, it's just been sort of carried on, I think, and then just tacked down here. So I'm just going to untack that and see what the shape is when I open it up, because that's going to be important to recreate once I've pinched it in. It's always a bit of an investigation, a sort of a mystery to figure out how it's been done when you're sort of trying to alter these things. But having a look at this, okay, so what all that's happened really is that they've put some interfacing on the facing bit, not desperately accurately, or maybe it's supposed to go over onto the other side. Anyway, then this bit that folds over, just looking at the shape of it, I don't know, can you see that? Just looking at the shape of it, it's a flat piece, and they've just got this sort of pointy bit cut down, like that. So interesting shape to mimic. But because I need to sort of take some in, I'm going to have to re-mimic that shape, which could be a little bit of a trick, but I'm going to just have a look at it and and ah and try and work out how that's going to happen. And of course I need to cut it, fold it further down to bring that neckline down. So let me get on with that, have a little think, and I'll bring you back once I've got that sorted out, I think. I've unpicked all the front, so all the front sort of pleats I've unpicked from the waistband to allow me to get to these darts and also the front seam. And then I have pinned it on the inside, so I've taken a centimetre chunk out of here, and then I moved these darts across so that the sort of boob apex, if you like, is sort of more where it should be, or where it is on me anyway. So now I've just got to stitch up here on this point part. When I fold it out like this, I'm just going to sew up to here and then sew in at the height it was before. I think that should give me the V in the same place, because that's the line there of the neckline. So if I went straight up to here, that's what would make it higher on my neck. But I think by stopping and then coming over to that line, that should retain the original height of the V. Anyway, that's the theory. We're now going to sew it and see if it works. The first thing, of course, is to see if I've actually got a thread match. It's a colour I wear a lot, so I'm hoping. Oh, look. That is absolutely perfect. Look at that. Like, I couldn't have got a better match if I'd gone to the shop myself. So I think that green will be fine. It's obviously a colour I wear a lot. I don't think there's anything on my thread rack that is going to be better. No, I think that's the one. It looks like a full spool, so maybe I bought it for a project. Oh well, if it's another project, I'll have to buy another spool when I get to it. So yeah, I think that will be fine for this dress. So I'm just going to do the bobbin and everything of this. I'm just reinforcing this point because by the looks of it I need to clip into it. So I thought I would just reinforce it while I'm here. Right, okay, hopefully that will work. That seems to fold down at the new point. So perfect, yay! A little complicated I thought, but no, I might use this in future, quite handy. Okay, so next I have pinned the waist back together, the top and the bottom back together, sort of slightly rearranged the pleats, hopefully they'll look okay, and then I'm just going to zoom along. Then I'm going to have a look at the back separately, just to make sure we're still on track. Now I need to give it a bit of a press because nothing really ever sits right until you press it. Just the front, mind you, then I'm going to try it on and check the back. Okay, so that's certainly fitting better across the front. I've dropped the neckline down and that seems to work okay, although I'm sort of toying with whether I do a little sort of turn over there. I quite like the idea of maybe doing a little turnover to sort of widen the neck. I don't know, I just think that adds a little bit of interest. What do you think? I don't know, just sort of a little turnover. I could just tack it down. I think that's quite sweet. Look, I've pulled out of shape. One of the things with not having a proper facing on here is that if you do that, it sort of pulls it out of shape a bit. I'll probably just have to press that in now. But I quite like the idea of rolling it over. We will see. Anyway, I'll get the back done first so that then it will actually fit me. And then we'll see about the nuances. See if it needs a little extra anywhere. Okay, so I've done those alterations on the back now. So that is all stitched in and I've taken it up into the neckline. I took this piece right up into the neckline and then folded it over. And then that left me with a little funny indent, but that's on the wrong side, so that's okay. What I also needed to do was pinch out a little bit on the sort of the shoulder seam where the facings match. Obviously the front facing altered a little bit as well, and the back facing. So I just pinched out a little bit there, restitched this, and then obviously tacked it down. I've also tacked it down on the front as it was originally, just here where the V came in, and I've given it a good press. You can sort of see, you probably can't actually on the screen, but I can sort of see the original line. But anyway, that is now completely altered, and of course I restitched it into the waistline, and you might be able to see a slight change here in the overlocking because it was originally overlocked with a green thread and I only have a white thread, so I have restitched it in and re-overlocked it, and then I have given it a really good press. So it fits beautifully. I've tried it on and I'm really pleased with the finish. I decided not to do any sort of fancy things on the neckline. I've just gone with the very straight line neckline that it had originally. I didn't want to complicate things too much. But having finished the dress, I'm not actually going to do a final reveal now because I am also working on a hat, which is all from the charity shop. So I'm actually going to do another little video on making the hat. So obviously once I've made the hat to go with this dress for the wedding, then I will do a final reveal. I should also tell you what I'm wearing, because this dress that I'm wearing at the moment is another charity shop find, which I've had for a couple of years now, and I found exactly the same issue as this, and the blue lace dress and all the rest of the dresses. It was a nice dress. It's a Anne Mardell, which is a designer in New Zealand, I think. I just absolutely loved the fabric. I don't know if you can see this pattern. It's absolutely glorious. It's a sort of a, oh, I don't know, a paisley, blues, greens, just really gorgeous, and I loved it. So I spotted it on the rack and I thought, oh, I'm going to try that on. Too big, but it's a princess seam, so what I did again is I took in the seams at the front, I took in the seams at the back. I can't stand back so you can see it all, I think. Hopefully you can see it's just sort of knee length, just sort of on the knee, which I like. So I left it the same length, but as I say, I took it in a bit so that it had a little bit more shape. And fitted me a little bit better, but this is another one I've done this trick to. So I do this a lot because whenever I find something in a charity shop, it never fits me, and usually if it does fit me and it's a size 6 or 8 in my size, it tends to have come from sort of a cheap teenage shop, and the quality is rubbish. So if I find something in a quality fabric, maybe in a designer brand, and I'm really drawn to that sort of more quality fabric when I see it on the rag, it tends to be, more often than not, a bigger size. So I've got quite good at taking these things in. This one was $8, so I was really pleased with this. And this flowery dress, this one I've been working on today, this came from the Recycle Boutique. It was originally marked at $46, but it actually was on the last chance rail at 50% off, so I actually got this for $23 in the end. So very good prices, and I'm really pleased with the finished garment. But as I say, you'll have to watch the hat video to see the final reveal with all of its pieces. Now, the wedding is tomorrow, so I'd better get on and do this hat, hadn't I? Okay, well, I will see you next time. Bye!